Pants get freaky. Ick. Denise gave a theatrically disappointed sigh. Regina Elena, where did we go wrong with you? All sex is interesting, sweetie, 'cause hearing about it is the next best thing to doing it. Reggie rolled her eyes. I've heard that argument before, Niecy, and I'm still not buying. If I'm not having the sex, I'm not interested in hearing about it. And that brings up something I've been wanting to talk to everyone about, Ava interrupted, her mouth curving in the kind of smile that always made the hair on the back of Reggie's neck stand up. Thank you for the lovely segue, Reggie dear. Unease pushed Reggie into an automatic protest, but Ava characteristically plowed right over her like a Prada-wearing steamroller. It has come to my attention, Ava continued, that you, Regina, are the only one of our little group who has yet to take part in her very own fantasy fix. The suggestion was met with a half-second of silence, followed by a rousing cheer from everyone but Reggie, because she was too busy snapping into instant sobriety and experiencing a sudden and debilitating empathy for trapped lab rats around the world. And were those cat's whiskers she could see, sprouting from Ava's nose? Oh, no, Reggie protested, holding her hands out in front of her as if she could beat back her best friend's intentions. I'm not going to be your next victim. I was never wild about the fix idea in the first place, but you guys ignored me back then. You said I was being a silly Puritan and that I'd get over it. Well, I haven't. Pick someone else. The idea of the fantasy fixes had come out of a night Reggie would never forget. And she ought to know because she'd been trying to do so for the past 6 months. You know, I don't think we can do that this time, Denise said, leaping onto Ava's bandwagon with an unrepentant grin. I think Ava's right. Every single one of us here has taken at least one turn so far. Ava and Corinne and I have even taken 2 each. It just wouldn't be right if we kept skipping over you. Why, personally, I don't think I'd be able to live with myself if we didn't make it our first and foremost priority to get you fixed just as soon as possible. Maybe I'm not broken, Reggie growled, but her protests fell on deaf ears. Not that she'd expected much else. No one could talk Denise Carter out of an idea, which is why the fantasy fixes had gotten off the ground to begin with. Ava had thought it up, with Denise quickly throwing her support behind it, and since the whole thing had been born on another wild and wine-filled girls' night, Corinne and even Missy had quickly jumped onto the bandwagon. At the time, even Reggie hadn't fought that hard against it. 6 months ago, she couldn't see the harm. Now she was considering applying for disaster relief funds. The fantasy fix had exploded into being when one too many drinks had led the 5 women's conversation to the subject of fantasies, in particular, to sexual fantasies. Have you ever acted one out? Ava had wanted to know. One of the really steamy ones you didn't want anyone to know about? Denise scoffed at that. Where would I get the chance? And with who? Reggie's the only one of us with a long-term relationship. I'm lucky if I can get lucky, let alone find a guy to act out the good stuff with. I don't know if that makes Reggie lucky, though, Corinne observed. Sometimes it's even harder to do the fantasy thing with a real partner than it would be with someone you don't know as well. There's more at stake. Personally, if I'm going to admit I want to dress up in red leather and have some hunk call me mistress, I think I'd rather do it with a stranger. Mistress, huh? Missy giggled and grinned. You go, girl. I wouldn't have pegged you for it, but I think I like this side of you. You're right, though. Strangers might be easier. Exactly, Denise agreed. Besides, you pull out the big guns with a lover, and he's gonna want in on the fantasizing. Lovers want to get inside your head. At least if you were doing the fantasy thing with a stranger, you can do it all the way.